For the viewers of The Connection, welcome to Triple G Farms. I'm here with my good friends and sponsors of the show, David Ralston with Hunters Inc.
Ron, thanks for having me.
You're welcome, and my pleasure. And Eric Dunham with Eric's Custom Knives.
Appreciate it, Ron. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, Eric. David, before we get into the hunt, and I'm going to get to you in a minute, Eric.
Okay.
Before we get to the hunt, let's talk a little bit about Hunters Inc. and what Hunters Inc. stands for and what you do.
Well, Hunters Inc. is I took my hobby and made it into a little side business. I make custom game calls, turkey calls, duck calls, deer grunts, goose calls, custom made, handmade, one at a time. We'll start with the turkey call. I make turkey calls. I was a turkey hunter, and I wanted to extend my turkey season, I guess, if you will. So I took up making turkey calls, and I make quality wooden box calls. They're good enough quality you can take them to the field and hunt with them, or you can decorate your house with them. I use all kinds of different wood. This is a mahogany and a butternut. I make a long box. I did this one, started making these last year. This is primarily a call for a high screeching call. If you get tough windy conditions, that'll make them gobble every time. That'll reach out there and they'll be able to hear that. So I started with the turkey calls, and then I took up a little duck hunting, so I started making duck calls. I started with the wooden duck calls. This is a Purple Heart. I use all different exotic woods, a place where I ordered different woods, and this is a Purple Heart, real red. They're a single banded call. I use an acrylic insert, and this is as good as quality call as you'll get at the big outdoor catalog store. That was Purple Heart. Here's one I did in maple. This is probably one of the nicer woods. People will tell you that Coco Bolo is the best wood for duck calls. So this is a Coco Bolo. I can do these. That'll turn ducks just like the $200 call
that I can attest to.
You know, from the big outdoor store. I started a goose call. I've got a goose call. This is a laminate. This is you take a bunch of different woods and laminate them together, and then you drill them, turn it on a lathe, and finish it out. Again, an acrylic insert. I'm not going to blow this one because I'm not a championship goose caller by any means, and it will call, but I can't make it sound real good like a goose yet. So maybe next year. Deer grunts. I'm a deer hunter, so I needed a deer grunt. I make deer grunts. Again, I can make them acrylic, plastic. Turn the wood. This is a Purple Heart. This is a line that I started last year. I'm a college football fan, so I started a line. I call this line the game call, and it's right now I can do all of the different SEC teams. These are excellent for Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. I'm hoping to stretch out and do all of the college football teams eventually. These are actually grunts. These were ordered a couple weeks ago, and these are grunt calls. You put a tube on them. I've got it. They come with a tube, and they sound just like the wooden grunt call. So you can take these to the woods and use them, or hang them from your rear view, or collect them. Whatever you want to do with them. They're an operating, functional call.
Good call to use for going in the woods, but also a good call to show your college spirit for whatever team you may like.
Right. Now those are grunts. I make a duck call the same way.
Okay, so I can order a duck call that has that college logo on it, whatever college logo.
You can order your college.
Good deal,
duck
good deal.
or grunt, either way, however you like it.
And I've used a few of your calls. I have turned ducks with the duck calls. They do turn ducks. They're good quality call, and it's a good quality call for not a lot of money. That's what I like about these calls. David, how can the folks out there get a hold of you if they want to order a call from you?
I don't have a website. I've got a Facebook page. I do everything by Facebook. Hunter Zinc and the Wind River Call Company. That's my Facebook page. And you can come by there, and as I build a call, I post it. So there's, I don't have a list of all the different woods yet. I'm building a list that I'll post on the website. But all my contact information is there. You can call me or email me or send me a Facebook message. I'll get back with you. And that's how I do business. And then we discuss what it is exactly you want. You know, you want a duck call, goose call, turkey call, a deer grunt. We'll talk about the different wood, different inserts, different color inserts, bands. I'll build it just exactly the way you want it. Do the customization that I can do, and we'll talk about that when you get up with me. And they're all reasonably priced. I wanted to be able to hand down my hunting equipment, you know, to my kids and my grandkids.
Right.
I didn't want to give my grandson a plastic grunt call that I bought, you know, at the superstore. So I started doing this, and these are heirloom quality calls. When you buy this call, you can use it, you pass it down to your kids. My turkey calls are $35. Now the long boxes are $40. And again, I can do different woods and different colors. The grunt calls are $35. My game calls are $30. My duck calls are $35, and I get $40 for the goose calls. Is what I'm going to ask for the goose calls. They're bigger. They have more. They're a little harder to do. So again, you know, they're not the $200 calls that you're going to order, you know, offline or from the big catalog store. But they're just as good. They make the same sound, and they will turn ducks. These will make turkeys gobble. They'll bring turkeys in. That'll, you know, bring the geese down. You can grunt up a deer with that, guaranteed. Just like you can, you know, the ones you're going to see on the infomercial.
And these are all custom calls. You can order these calls and just get up with him on Facebook, and he'll let you know, exactly what he can do. You can shoot him an email, and there's also a phone number on that Facebook page that you can get up with him. Eric, let's talk a little bit about Eric's Custom Knives. Of course, the title for the Eric's Custom Knives speaks for itself. Talk a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your product and what you make.
I've been making custom knives for about 2 years now. Started out just as a kind of a hobby. Started out making blades out of saw blades, out of old files, whatever. This is one of the first ones I probably ever made. Still works great today. Since then, I've ventured off into the higher carbon steels, the 1095s, 01s, that make, better quality. I mean, not saying that this won't hold up for you, but just better quality yet. Most of my knives are one-off. I mean, somebody discuss, I'll drop a plan for one, they'll say, wants that one, we'll go with it. If you come to me and say, I want two that are just alike, I'm going to tell you to go somewhere else and find them, because no two knives of mine are exactly alike, because everything's done by hand. It's metal reduction by hand. I can't always guarantee exactly how much I'm going to take off every time.
So when you say Eric's Custom Knives, you mean just that every knife is its own custom knife?
That is correct. Here recently I ventured off into Damascus steel. I don't do the Damascus myself. I buy it, but this is a wave pattern Damascus with a Damascus finger guard, black walnut handle, hidden tang. Great little knife. Very good little knife.
Very beautiful knife.
Thank you. Got brass pins in it, or a brass pin in it. I have a couple, I guess you could say, line knives, tiles. This one belongs to Dave over there. It's what we call the underboss. About 8 inches overall length, 3/16. I think this one was made out of 1095. It has handmade burlap micarta scales to it with tubes in it. Got some gray liners on it with a nice little custom sheet that's built
So
in
you're
with it.
saying even the handle is custom made?
That's correct. That's correct. I'll do handles just about out of anything. As you can see, I've got one that's wrapped here. This is probably one of my other, I guess, production knives is more the term. This is called the Trail Boss. 3/16 steel by 11, a little over 11 inches total length. This one actually has digital camo micarta scales on it. I have seen this knife baton about a 3-inch piece of oak into and just keep on trucking there, slow down. Scout carry sheath that I made. Dave seemed to be pleased with it also. This is just a little neck knife that I make. It's a good little Skinner. This one actually belongs to you. A one-tool steel, black walnut handles with brass pins, custom sheath made with it. Like I say, this one's got just a little skinning knife I made. It's got burlap scales on it with custom mosaic pins in it. I do make them by hand also. I do a little bit of custom leather work. Somebody wants a sheath for a knife, they can just get in contact with me. I'll have to have the knife, of course, but I'll work with them on that too.
And all your knives are, like you said, one-of-a-kind custom knife. And how do people get up with you if they want to order a knife from you?
I also have a Facebook page. It's Eric's Custom Knives. You can reach me there, or I have an email. It's ericscustomknives@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email. We'll converse back and forth. You can send me a picture of somewhat of what you like. I'll draw it up again, send it back to you for your approval before I'll start on the knife, and then we'll settle on a price that time. My knives are real reasonably priced to be a handcrafted knife. And there again, something that you'll have with you forever.
Now, when you say a line knife, now that's basically a knife. If I'm looking to just say, hey, I own an Eric's Custom Knife, I could just call you and say, hey, I just want a knife, and you got a basic type of knife, more or less.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, I've got 2 or 3 that I've made more of than anything.
Right.
Like this little Skinner, and the underboss here that I make, and this one we call the Trail Boss. Those are probably my 3 production knives. This is a one-off that I made, and of course anything you do in Damascus is one-off. But yeah, those 3 I've got templates all made up for them. Now, just say you want a Trail Boss, I'll make you a Trail Boss, but it's not going to be exactly like this one. Just remember
So it'll
that.
definitely be a custom
It'll be
knife.
close, but
It'll be close.
It
There'll
won't be
be
exactly
something
hand.
different on it. Yeah.
I know Eric uses no jigs. Everything is by hand. I mean, he's an artist.
Yeah, without a doubt, yes, definitely an artist. And talking about those knives, I've seen that knife, that Trail Boss, do what you were talking about,
Yeah.
baton through a piece of wood and cut a piece of leather after that with no problem. So they hold an edge very well. Again, these guys don't just sponsor my show, and they're not just real good friends of mine, but I use their products. And I wouldn't advertise their products or talk about their products if I didn't use them. They're very good, very reliable products, and they hold up very well. Now that we've talked about the products, guys, let's get a little bit into the hunting.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get to the meat. Yeah, we're ready to hunt.
That's what we're ready to do. We're ready to go do some hunting. We're here at Triple G Farms again. It's muzzleloader season in November in Alabama. We're looking to get some deer. We'd like to get some nice horns on the wall, but I think we're looking to put some meat in the freezer too, guys.
Yes,
It's a little windy. Supposed to be cold this week. Is that correct? I think, David, you looked at the weather.
It's going to be cold.
So looking at really some cold weather. We've got our green fields already planted. I've talked to you a little bit before about what we planted, that no plow. That's great stuff. David, actually, I was telling you, a friend of mine, David's the one that actually told me about that stuff, and we tried it out one year, and it worked really excellent. So hopefully we'll see some deer, and we'll put some meat in the freezer, and we'll bring you some good hunting footage on top of that. So guys, are y'all ready to go hunting?
We're ready to hunt.
Let's go after it.
Let's go.
For the viewers of Connection, stay with us.